Ellard and Ranking Member Fleischman for their work on this bill. This is a tough bill to work on collaboratively, but they've done a good job of going as far as they can to find agreement and then making clear disagreements beyond that. It's been a collaborative and thoughtful process, bipartisan in many ways. It's an unusual appropriations season, so this is quite an achievement. This has become probably our toughest bill, so I really do take a tip of the hat to our leaders for the way this has been presented to us. The bill is fraught, and it has become, I remember in my early days as ranking member and chairman of the Homeland Security Subcommittee, I remember this was often the first bill we considered. It was considered the easiest one to pass and get through. It often became a vehicle for other bills. Now the situation is quite different, and it's not too hard to figure out why. The issue of immigration and the extent to which this administration has gone in cruel and arbitrary immigration policies, this bill inevitably becomes a flashpoint for those policies. And my amendment is attempting to deal with some of this today in terms of policies that we need to reverse and that with appropriate action on the part of this subcommittee can reverse. We haven't seen anything like this before. The current administration and its Homeland Security Department are producing policies and regulation and executive orders at an alarming rate that are just directly contrary to our nation's values and to our history as a nation of immigrants. Despite the humanitarian crises we face across the globe, including our own southern border, President Trump's doubling down on new and punitive actions against immigrants and those who are fleeing violence. He's putting thousands of lives in danger by refusing immigrants entry into our nation while simultaneously cutting humanitarian relief and development assistance designed to improve conditions back in their home countries. He's doing both, and it's having devastating effects. This administration has narrowed the base for asylum claims and has instituted multiple policies designed to virtually halt the flow of refugees into this country. They've attempted to rescind the DACA program and TPS designations. They've taken on indiscriminate enforcement actions against immigrants, and the list goes on. My amendment targets some of these actions. It would prevent federal funds from being used for the following policies. The policy rule designed to essentially prevent anyone from seeking asylum in our nation. The harmful Remain in Mexico policy, which forces asylum seekers to wait in dangerous border towns for their hearing with little or no oversight. The blatantly discriminatory travel ban. Fourthly, the Asylum Cooperative Agreement to rapidly expel asylum seekers from the U.S. to countries where many have no recourse to seek protection based on credible fear. Fifth, guidance that universalizes enforcement priority, making every undocumented immigrant, potentially an equal priority for removal. Sixth, a nonsensical policy that could require citizenship applicants to attend their interviews at a different CIS office than where they originally applied. And finally, the U.S. CBP personnel to conduct credible fear and reasonable fear interviews to determine those situations. That's a sensitive job, and it should be left to trained asylum officers. Now, the list could go on. This is by no means an exhaustive list. It would take dozens of pages to enumerate a comprehensive list. But this amendment is just a small sample of the numerous anti-immigrant actions taken by this president and his administration in the past 3.5 years, abandoning the promise of America as a source of refuge for those escaping persecution and oppression. The estimated cost of this amendment is $50 million, and it is fully offset. I urge support for the amendment.
Ms. DeLauro. Ms. Roybal-Allard is recognized.